What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another trade recap video. This one's going to be a quick one. Sorry if it's a little dark. But this is the full trade. The Montreal Canadiens trade Ilya Kovalchuk to the Washington Capitals for a 2020 third-round pick. Ovechkin and Kovalchuk, obviously Kovalchuk not in his prime, going to play together, which is pretty cool. Probably not on the same line, but it's still pretty cool, the Russian connection there. But yeah, it's Kovalchuk to the Washington Capitals for a third-round pick, and Montreal's also retaining 50% of Kovalchuk's league min salary. So basically, they're only paying him in cash like $75,000 in Washington, which is kind of crazy. So the Canadiens now have 13 picks for the 2020 draft, being held in Montreal, of course. 6 of them are in the first 3 rounds, so that's pretty significant for them. They've got a bunch of picks that they can work with. But yeah, I think that this is a pretty solid deal for them. Kovalchuk this year in 39 games played has had 22 points. For the Montreal Canadiens, he had 13 points in 22 games played. He had 6 goals and 7 assists. Prior to that with LA, obviously that fit never really worked out. The season before, in the 18-19 season, he actually had 34 points in 64 games played, not too bad. But the contract never really worked out there, and of course it never really worked out in New Jersey too much either. He had a couple really good years there. But it seemed to me that like the fit in Montreal for a couple years would have made sense. To start off this year with LA, he had in 17 games played, he had 9 points. But of course, being dealt to Montreal, it seemed like he had like another like jump in his step. Like he looked pretty good. Like the fit seemed so weird at first, but then it ended up being so good. But because Montreal doesn't believe that they're going to make the playoffs, or they're just, worried about asset management, they don't want to not move a guy that could potentially get them a decent return, they had to trade Kovalchuk. Now, they were dangling around the idea that there could have been a contract offer for Kovalchuk. There were some reports saying it could have been a 1-year deal at like $3.5 million. There was other reports saying that they'd like to get him over $1 million. They'd like to keep him at $1 million. Some were saying just try to hand him out another league min contract. A bunch of different rumors, but the main thing is that the Canadiens were trying to make teams bid up a little bit by teasing around that they were going to sign him to a contract, which I think was probably a bluff. If they would have kept playing better and winning games instead of losing a few here and there, they probably would have held on to him as an own rental and tried to re-sign him for a year or two. Probably more than likely a 1-year deal. But I don't know. It just, Montreal could have got a second-round pick. I don't know. A lot of people figured that's what it was going to be. But man, that's kind of crazy. I think that this is a pretty solid deal for the Capitals as well, loading up. They're trying to go after another Stanley Cup. They're a pretty good team. But just as a hockey fan, I think it's cool to see Kovalchuk and Ovechkin on the same team. But yeah, this will be a cool trade to follow over time, to see what that third-round pick gets the Canadiens, obviously, when the draft comes up next year. And we'll have to see how Kovalchuk performs with the Washington Capitals. So if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. Lots of deadline coverage coming within the next day. The deadline's coming up very soon. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys as always. Make sure to subscribe and tell me who won the trade down below. Peace.